Coronation Street spoilers. Amy implodes in shock scenes as she suffers mental breakdown. Amy Barlow has had a really difficult year in Coronation Street, having had to come to terms with the fact that she was raped by former friend Aaron Sanford. In upcoming scenes, Amy plans on using her experience to help other women, though her actions are set to get her in trouble as she is arrested ahead of the anti-spiking march. When Amy bumps into a girl called Kate in the cafe, she soon realizes that it is the girl from her drop-in session, and asks her to come over for a chat. Their conversation sparks something in Amy, and as she pushes her coursework aside, she tells Kate that she'd like to help. It brings back all of those memories and also makes Amy feel so helpless because she's watching this girl who's so brave in telling her story and Amy's watching her thinking I could never do that, actress Elle Mulvaney revealed. She's hoping that she can help the girl but doesn't even know how to help herself. I think that's when she realizes how out of her depth she is. As Amy and her friends set off for the anti-spiking march, they are hit with disparaging remarks from Mason and his cronies. She decides that she's going to go on this march and that she's going to really campaign for women's rights and anti-spiking, so she goes wholesale on it. She's trying to get other people involved and she's putting all of her energy into it. So I think when she's met by somebody who's got a complete opposite energy, who's trying to bash her down, she just loses it because she doesn't know how to cope with the fact that it isn't all going to plan. She's built it up so much in her head that this march has to go well, she has to do something, she has to help people, and now somebody's stopping her. She takes that as a personal battle against him, and that's why she lashes out. As she goes to hit Mason with her placard, she is stopped by a police officer. Things go from bad to worse when Amy argues with the officer and spray paints the police car, landing her in handcuffs for criminal damage. The following day, she is quick to tell Steve and Tracy that the march went really well, and that she is off to hand in her essay for uni. When she later runs into Asha, she assures her that she has learnt her lesson, and informs her that she is heading home to work on her coursework. However, after a run-in with Dylan that sees her encourage him to stand up to Mason, Amy changes her mind and decides to go to a club. Amy is setting out to catch men who are predators. She thinks there's a lot of men who go out just to prey on drunk women, so she decides that she's going to go out and see if she can catch anybody in the act. Also, after listening to Kate, who was spiked at a club, she then decides that she's going to go try and find out who did it basically. So she decides to go to the club and scan the room. She's looking for anybody who's a bit suspicious or anybody who she thinks might have an ulterior motive for being there, and that's when she spots Dan. Things take a turn when Amy watches Dan spike someone's drink, and she feels like she can't just stand back and let him get away with it. She is quick to storm over and drag the woman to the toilets, explaining what she had seen and revealing that she had been raped by a man like Dan. As Amy reveals that she is trying to help other women, the woman thanks her and leaves. Though Amy knows she should probably go too, she approaches Dan and begins to flirt instead. What exactly is she up to, and could she be endangering herself? Everything's going to implode, because I think as Amy starts to realize that she actually hasn't got her things together, she realizes that she's on a downward spiral and she doesn't know how to stop it. So in a way she's just now flowing with it, seeing where it goes, but by the end of the episode with Dan we see her have a mental breakdown essentially, and then after that we'll see Amy try and piece the puzzle back together.
Xin chào các bạn đã quay trở lại với kênh Spoiler. Vừa rồi các bạn đã theo dõi một